Uhlmann reporting for TTN HD Production Live, here with writer-director Matthew Ross. What is Frank and Lola about?
I describe it as I guess a psychosexual thriller about a chef in Brooklyn who falls in love with a girl whose mysterious past and curious relationship with the truth sort of sends him off the cliff, so to say.
What inspired this story?
Oh, I don't know. I guess a couple of personal experiences mixed with a real love of French thrillers, I guess you could say.
You've done a lot of work, documentary work with fighters.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about that.
Well, I started out as a journalist, actually, and I was a journalist for about 10 years, covering mostly the film business. I was the managing editor of Filmmaker magazine, and I wrote for Variety for about 10 years, Village Voice, and I got sick of writing about movies. But I used to be a fighter when I was a kid, so a friend of mine who I used to box with, who had written this big book about professional fighters, we'd gone to college together. He hooked me up with this magazine which had just started out, and I became their sort of West Coast editor very quickly. And then they opened up a video division, which of course kind of was, I found a real nice marriage between the journalistic stuff and the filmmaking. So I started doing this documentary profile series on professional fighters, which kind of took off in this really fun way. We shot on HD and multiple cameras, and I guess we kind of gave that world that hadn't really been explored in the way that I think journalism can really explore stuff yet, or had only begun to be. Boxing had been, but not, mixed martial arts. So we gave I think a different, maybe a bit more of a sort of more considered perspective on what the fighters were actually like when they're not in the ring. And so it was fun, yeah. And
what did you find? What are the boxers actually like?
It's funny. There's no one way to really boil them down. I mean, you've got some of these, Brazilian or Japanese fighters who are incredibly observant on the rules of mixed martial arts and honor and, appealing to some sort of higher notion of the spiritual aspect of it. And then you've got kids that just want to beat the crap out of each other and consider themselves, warriors that want to die in the ring. So there's a very different, but it was a fun way to get, to have people tell their stories in their own words, which I always think is a fun thing to do,
What was the biggest thing that you took from the experience? What did you learn from it?
I think, when you're interviewing successful people that come from strange parts of the world, I mean, kids who grew up, in the favelas in Brazil and are now, making millions of dollars. It's just, to succeed at anything, you have to work. And when you start making bad decisions, that's going to affect you. I mean, it kind of just reaffirmed what, there's a common thing when you're trying to do something that's very hard to succeed at, where the level of, where 98%, it might as well be zero in a certain way. And it was inspiring to see how hard these guys worked, really.
And is there a website where we can find out more information on your work?
Yeah, lolafilm.net, LOLAFILM.net. It's got all my shorts on there, including the short I did last year for Bret Easton Ellis for the release of his book, and stuff about Frank and Lola, as well as the other projects I have coming up and everything like that.
Great. Well, thank you so much, and best of luck with your upcoming work.
Thank you very much.
I'm Katie Uhlmann reporting for TTN HD Production Live.